The distress signal had been broadcasting for 3 cycles before the Nathvari High Council finally agreed to send it. Their once mighty civilization, spanning 12 star systems in the Andromeda Arm, now faced extinction at the hands of the Voidborn swarm. The crystalline beings had methodically consumed 3 Nathvari colony worlds, converting all organic matter into more of their kind with ruthless efficiency. The signal has been transmitted on all frequencies, High Counselor reported Zenith, the communications specialist. His 4 eyes blinked nervously as the holographic display showed the message radiating outward into the darkness of space. High Counselor Telenur, her scaled skin shimmering in the artificial light of the council chamber, nodded solemnly. Now we wait. The ancient records speak of allies from beyond the void zone. If even half the legends are true, they may be our only hope. What the Nathvari couldn't understand, was the nature of those they had called upon. In the grand classification system of galactic civilizations, most inhabited worlds fell into categories 1 through 3. Paradise worlds with minimal environmental threats, where intelligent life evolved in relative safety. The Nathvari themselves hailed from a Class 2 world. Earth was classified as a Class 12, a death world. Admiral Helena Chen stood at the viewport of the UAS Thunderchild, watching as the fleet of 50 warships prepared for the jump. The Unified Earth Command had received the distress signal 17 days ago, and the response had been immediate and unanimous. All ships report ready for translocation, Admiral, announced Commander Diaz from the tactical station. The Athena, Mjolnir, and Kusanagi are leading the first wave. Helena nodded, her weathered face reflecting none of the turmoil within. Humanity had been alone in the stars for over a century since achieving faster-than-light travel. This distress call was the first confirmed contact with an alien civilization, and they were facing annihilation. "Begin the countdown," she ordered. "And may whatever gods are watching have mercy on these void-born creatures, because we won't." The Admiral's words weren't mere bravado. Humans had evolved on a planet that tried to kill them at every turn: extreme weather, tectonic instability, pathogenic microorganisms, and predators of every imaginable type. Their bodies were reinforced with carbon nanofibers, their cellular structures augmented with regenerative technologies, and their minds linked to combat neural networks that process battlefield information faster than any unmodified organism could comprehend. The human fleet vanished in 50 synchronized flashes of quantum displacement, leaving only empty space where an armada had stood moments before. The Voidborn had surrounded Nathvar Prime, the homeworld of the desperate aliens who had sent the signal. Their crystalline ships, resembling jagged shards of obsidian, numbered in the thousands as they prepared for the final assault on the planetary defense shields. High Counselor Telenur had accepted the inevitable. Their call for help had gone unanswered. The evacuation ships could save only a fraction of their population. She was about to give the order to begin the final protocols when Zenith burst into the chamber. "High Counselor, multiple spatial ruptures detected at the edge of the system." The tactical display suddenly illuminated with 50 new signatures appearing from nowhere. The vessels were unlike anything the Nathvari had ever seen: asymmetrical, bristling with weapons and trailing plasma exhaust that burned hotter than the surface of a star. Before the Council could react, a communication request flashed on their screens. When Telenur accepted, the image that appeared struck fear into the hearts of every Nathvari present. The creature had only 2 eyes, no scales, an exposed dermis covered with a light sheen of moisture. Its mouth contained blunt, omnivorous teeth, and it showed them in what the Nathvari would later learn was a smile, though in that moment it appeared to be a threat display. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Fleet. We received your distress call. Stand by for combat operations." The transmission ended abruptly. What followed would be recorded in Nathvari history as the severing of the crystal tide. The human ships accelerated to speeds the Nathvari tracking systems could barely register. They moved not in formation, but in what appeared to be chaos, yet there was a deadly pattern to their seemingly random maneuvers. Where the Voidborn had expected orderly, predictable attacks, they encountered a frenzy of violence that defied tactical analysis. Missiles carrying antimatter warheads tore through the crystalline formations. Particle beams sliced through Voidborn ships with surgical precision. And then came the boarding parties. Lieutenant Amara Okafor led her squad through the ruptured hull of the largest Voidborn vessel. Their exoskeletons enhanced every movement, while helmets with adaptive interfaces tracked and highlighted the crystalline entities that emerged to defend their ship. "Remember, team," Amara broadcasted over the tactical link, "these things don't understand pain or fear. They only understand existence or non-existence. Let's make sure they understand the latter." The Voidborn had never encountered anything like human combat tactics. Where other species fought with order and precision, humans embraced chaos. They used explosions to mask their movements, sacrificed tactical positions to create ambushes, and employed psychological warfare against beings that supposedly had no psychology to target. But most terrifying of all was their resilience. When a crystalline spike impaled a human soldier, they didn't die immediately. They fired their weapons until their final breath, and sometimes beyond, as combat stimulants kept their bodies functioning past biological death. From the council chamber, Telenor watched in stunned silence as the battle unfolded. The Voidborn, who had methodically consumed 3 worlds without significant losses, were being systematically dismantled by the human armada. "They fight like nothing I've ever seen," whispered an elder counselor. "It's as if they've evolved for warfare itself." "Not warfare," corrected Zenith, who had been analyzing the battle data. "Survival. Their tactics suggest they evolved on a world where everything was a potential threat. They don't just fight to win, they fight because losing means extinction." Within 6 hours, the once mighty Voidborn fleet was reduced to scattered fragments. The human ships, though damaged, regrouped with mechanical efficiency. Admiral Chen's image appeared once more on the Nathvari screens. "The immediate threat has been neutralized. We're sending medical and technical teams to assist with recovery efforts. This is just the beginning. Our long-range sensors show more Voidborn approaching from neighboring systems." Telenor struggled to find words. "We cannot thank you enough. But at what cost? Your casualties must be acceptable," Chen interrupted, her expression unreadable. "We've lost 7 ships and approximately 2,000 personnel. The fallen will be honored, and the survivors will continue the mission." As the transmission ended, the Nathvari Council sat in stunned silence. They had called for help, hoping for salvation. Instead, they had awakened a force of nature, a species forged in the crucible of a death world whose very existence defied the laws of probability. And now that force was on their side. The Voidborn would soon learn what the humans had known since their earliest days on Earth: that which does not kill you makes you infinitely more dangerous to everything else in the universe.